Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all those who love to bring the thunder, but may not necessarily have a lot of space to do it in. You know that this has been a plight for many, 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 many years. I want to express myself. I feel the rhythm. I feel the beat. I feel it in my toes. I feel it in my soul. But I live in a tiny, tiny little apartment, and there's nowhere in town that has the space for me to play my drums. All my friends are buskers, but all I can do is bring like a cajon because all the cafes won't let us in with a drum kit. That solution has arrived. The day is here. Time is now. I'm talking like William Shatner. I don't know why, but I feel like this is space age things coming to us in the real world from the future. I digress. Bones, been here. Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a space engineer. Do it anyway. Okay, this is the SONOR AQX micro drum kit. Now, it's a dang drum kit, so yes, it takes up a massive amount of the table, which is why I'm vertical Kilroy today, but that's only momentarily. The rest, my other half will be back from its, astral plane traveling when it's done. And there it is. Okay, and now, together, we are going to see, with our trusty friend, Monsieur Razier, how much we get in how little a package. Because to me, oh, this is better than Christmas. Let's go. First of all, we want to respect the packaging here and realize that these things were stapled shut, not just taped. So I'm going to have to cut through the tape, stop at the staples, and then use our best friend brute force to get to the rest of the business. Okay. We're going to get a shot of take things out piece by piece, and then discover what those pieces in the real world. Okay, this sounds like a drum. Feels like a shell. It's probably a snare. This claims to be a cymbal/tom combination holder. I will take it at its word. This is a piece of shiny metal that probably holds things. This is a piece of cardboard that I don't need right now. Your branded, very sexy SONOR drum heads. Yes, they are. As a drummer, I keep my razor off of the desk. I have been careless and I might just be before. The pyramids have been built. But cutest little drum, it just is. It's adorable. Shells with wooden rims. Old school, baby. Old school. Woo. 14 by 12 is what it says. That's inches, if you, that's centimeters for you metrics up there. Okay. So we do notice that there is a bit of bleed damage here. Just noting that for posterity, in case anything does happen to end up to be damaged. There's a bit through here, and some subsequent damage here. I'm putting my finger through this hole. Not everything came through in the shipping in exactly pristine order. There's also an additional punch through here. So the idea of these kits is that we are supposed to be able to get basically a party in a can and be able to put it in a taxi and get the heck out. Basically the smallest footprint you can find and still be able to get decent sound. I bought 2 of these kits, and I think that when I bought a much larger version, which is called the Stage, and that's supposed to be their full-size kit. And the reason I did that is because I think at some point I will combine the 2 and then have a kit with 2 kick drums, 2 very separate different kick drums with different sound, with different tones, 2 snares, you know what I mean? And you'll have a lot of alternating opportunities to be multi-percussive. I'll just leave it at that. As a multi-percussionist, that appeals to me. So we have what for this kit I think is going to be the tom in this, and it's trolling us because the hole that the hardware is punched into the cardboard has become a hook. Let's check out our shells. I've got to say, this is not my first rodeo. I've been playing drums since I was been playing percussion since I was 4, and drum kits since I was about 6, a little shy of being 6, my 6th birthday. And the quality to price ratio has definitely shot through the roof. I think that when people look at drum kits and they look at certain things, their really modern eye is not making them understand that when you look at these older drum kits that Gene Krupa played on, and Buddy Rich, and these guys, like, they were garbage compared to the most low open market stuff that's capable now. The things that are competing as cocktail sets and these things, the idea of having these things in the 60s and in the 50s was just incredibly spaced, just impossible. When we get these super critical, people of, it's not this particular wood and it's that and the other thing, it's like, bro, you're a drummer. Nobody cares. You know what I mean? Like, no offense, but when, like, I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm with you. Nobody listens to you unless you're not there, and that's the truth. And the precision of this. Hello, I'm Galactic Jim. Come on, that's fun. That's always fun. It's even fun with the fan. If you do that in a fan, oh, that's amazing. Okay, so, but if we're looking at the precision of the tools here, the chrome, the paint itself, yes, I'm sure that I could, and yes, this is a wrap, but I'm just saying, even the whatever's going on here for the money that we're paying for it is, bro, when you're on stage, nobody can tell, and it don't matter. And to get up and running and functional, and to be having the ability to play in a professional way. First of all, this all came in one box. You know what I mean? This came to your house in a box. And you can say, well, this thing is tiny and blah, blah, blah. And so is your practice pad. So is, all of the things that you're going to complain about. I'm telling you something else that you think is wonderful. I have a practice pad. It's exactly this size. Now, yes, it's a high tom. I get it. That's exactly what it is. But in combination, if you ain't funky enough to make a kick, a snare, and a hi-hat work, you don't need toms. You know what I'm saying? You still need to work. You still need woodshed. So when I get this, and I'm telling you, it's not the highest quality thing I've ever seen, but it's also not. I'm looking at it, and there's nothing wrong with it. Even the badges are above what we could get in the 80s and the 90s, bro. Just the badge alone is nicer than fuck the drum itself. Skip the drum. The badge itself is nicer than anything you could pick up in the 80s and 90s. This would be considered a high-level kit if you go far enough back. And that's the thing that we need to really start being grateful for, is what we have at our disposal. They knew that guys were new. They knew that guys were coming in, without a lot going on. The precision, the hardware is in line. It's put in properly. They're almost tuned. I'm not gonna have to do a lot of that to get it where it needs to be. So that is absolutely astounding. The fact that we have a wood hoop kick drum, and yes, this is the kick drum. It is, I believe, a 14-inch. It's either a 14 or 16. I think it's a 14, but it may be a 16. I'm not sure actually. It should be on the box, but I flung the box into the universe with my great Mike, and now we will never know, because it has probably fallen into a star, some sort of black hole in the gravity well of a white dwarf or something. these rubber stoppers. I'm going to try to collect because you never know if they're later going to ask you, hey, what'd you do with all those things? I need them now. Yes, I always assume they're not. I always assume there'll be a test later. Always. Just assume it. Okay, so now, in here you can do your Wing Chun. If you have any problems, if you don't know what I'm talking about, nobody cares. It's just a joke. And if you can get in on this here, there's a hole just where my finger is. I'm fingering the hole. Yes, I am. And if you look here, it's not perfect. It's not 100% the most perfect thing. If you need that to be perfect, go grab a piece of sandpaper and give yourself 5 minutes of your life. Because for the money you spent for this thing, it is, if you look at the bevel of the edges is accurate all the way around. I'm not getting anything in my fingers. There's no, it's not sanded to absolute, 1/1,000,000th of a grain or whatever, but I'm not picking up splinters. This is well crafted and it will last you. If you take care of this kit, it will last you a very long time. If you choose not to take care of this kit, no one can do anything for you. Nobody cares about you. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that can be around. I guarantee you worse kits than this were constructed in the 50s that are still around. And it's because people took care of them and they had the value of the music itself and what they could do with it. Not, oh, I've seen a better one made than this or whatever. For the money that you're paying for these kits, it's amazing that you get anywhere near this kind of hardware, anywhere near these grips, these separations, these... guys, this stuff is amazing where it is. So it's a privilege to be able to live in a time, in the future. I live in the future. It's that simple. I swear to you, I live in the future because there's no reason that I'm going to leave the hardware and the pieces, the assemblage off, because I want to get to this last box. But there is no reason that you should not be just super grateful to be able to have so much fun with your sticks. Yes, I said that. I realize I said that. Pause, as the kids would say. And snare is in a box. It's already set. Now they want me to untie knots. I knew that I was not built for this. When I ordered this, I told them no knots. What else do you want? What more do you want, people? Ready for your brushes, ready for the world. The SONOR AQX line is a monster. You can spend $2,000 on a drum kit if you want to. I'm done with all that. I play so well, if I play a bucket, you're gonna rock. So guess what? This is good enough for me. I'm telling you, I'm sick of all this overpriced $4,000 everything. If it's $4,000, it either better look like furniture, paint my house, or give me oral. It's COVID, bro. Money ain't coming on trees. But music is important. Music is life. So we gotta figure out how to get it in where we can fit it in. And sometimes you gotta fit it in your budget. You gotta fit it in your life. You gotta fit it in your space. You don't have a budget for a big old house and a big studio like some people can get away with. This is your friend. You get this drum kit. You build yourself a tennis ball or a racquetball drum riser. It's super easy to do. You get a couple of pallets, 2 pieces of foam, and some racket balls. And you sit it on your floor so that your neighbor isn't coming through. And with a tiny kit like this, you can keep your chops together, you can keep gigging, you can keep making that money. Whatever little extra money you can squeeze out, you can play with your friends online, do what needs to be done. So I'm telling you, you got your snare. I believe this snare's a 13, it looks like a 13, but it's deep. So you can loosen it up and play those jazz chops. You got your, we're gonna call it a tom, but it's the low tom apparently. You got this little bullet up here in case you want to crack it like like you're in Rush. And you got the kick drum, which is clearly in the category of what I refer to as tiny but mighty. I like them tiny but mighty. I like those. You got your Sonar branding. They come with everything put together. You just have to put this together and the hardware. And you have to put, if you're gonna move your kit, you have to learn to put the hardware in. This is the ill. Sonar is amazing. Thank you guys for existing. I've had Sonar drums my entire career and my entire life, and they've always been my friends. I've had a couple of other kits, but I always keep coming back to them for some reason, and usually it's this design simplicity. It's because I know that no matter what it is they make, it's going to fit, it's going to work, and it's going to sound just staple, honest, and clean. So this is another example of them putting out a product that's not necessarily the same old, and fits the modern market and the way that drummers are evolving into these days. So thanks guys for being amazing, and thank you for getting it here all in one piece, because we've ordered some things that have not. So that's awesome. Yo, stay funky, mugs. Stay funky.